Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be uncovering the truth about the nether. Now, if you are walking in the nether, just like I am right now, probably just walking around, all of a sudden, you may hear a Geiger counter start up. It might sound like static. It might be slow or beeping. Now these Geiger counters measure radioactivity, but when there's a lot of radioactivity, they usually beep very fast. And on average, they actually beep slower than they do in the nether. So then, it would just be normal radioactivity, right? Wrong, because in the nether, there's actually a time difference. This is because if you go in the nether and you start walking, like 1 block, that is equal to 8 blocks in the overworld. And in real life, for example, in time zones, time is equal to difference. So 737 miles is 1 hour more than if you were 737 miles away, or vice versa. But since we're in the nether and in Minecraft is based off of real life, so that also applies, which means the Geiger counter would be beeping 8 times faster in the overworld. And there you just heard it. That sounds like stat. I think that was it, but okay, let's keep on adventuring further. There it was, the Geiger counter. Okay, now that we're adventuring further into the nether, you'll notice there are these little particles of ashes flying around. Now what if this is radioactive ash? That will also support our evidence that the nether is radioactive. But where are these Geiger counters coming from? Because only scientists and people who do science have Geiger counters. But why do we hear Geiger counters in the nether? If you go into inventory, look up Geiger counter, nothing appears. But that's when this theory comes in. So let's go back to the basalt biome, which is over here. So, in case you didn't know, basalt actually comes from volcanoes. So does lava and magma. So the basalt biome is a volcanic biome in the nether, which is basically another world. So, do you know what planet also has a lot of volcanoes? That's right, Mars. But why would we be hearing a Geiger counter for the radioactivity anyways? Well, in case you didn't know, Mars doesn't have an ozone layer, which lets all the UV light come in, which is basically just pure radioactivity from the sun. But then again, we're underground in Mars. Mars has a lot of lava. And the lava tubes it has is about the size of a football stadium, which is literally about this size. Okay, well then again, we're just gonna keep on exploring. But this is where the Geiger counter comes in. You see, there's a gas called radon that volcanoes emit. And then I thought, if volcanoes emit radon and there's a lot of volcanoes on Mars, and Mars would have a lot of radon. But that's where I was wrong, because radon in volcanoes only occurs on Earth. So then I was like, no, there's no more radon on Mars. So that means the Geiger counter cannot be doing this just for that reason, and is probably just a sound effect Mojang probably added for detail. But then I actually realized that Mars has 2 times the amount of radon in bedrock, and basalt is a porous material, so that means it has tiny little holes like a sponge, and thus can absorb the radon and be releasing radioactivity. It also might have trace amounts of elements such as uranium and radium inside of it, which also adds to the radioactivity. Now, radon is a gas, so that's why it can be absorbed through this. But when I looked up the amount of radon on Mars, I found out it was 2 times the amount in bedrock. And if we go down, okay, what do we see? Bedrock. Now, this can't really still be Mars. I mean, we have so much evidence supporting it. But what about the void? The void is just a void, and Mars has a core that's solid, an outer core that's liquid, which might be all the lava in the nether, but an outer core that's solid, which means it can't really be true that the nether is Mars, and this might all just be a coincidence. But then again, what if in the dimensions of the nether we're not actually going up and down, but left and right? Because Mars has a different axis than Earth does. So what if it then tilts at a degree that we suddenly fall upon in a pocket or a lava tube that's empty? And that's what the void is. Because if we go up, this can also support our theory. So you see, there's also a roof with basalt over here, which means that this could not only be a roof, but also a wall. And then if turned over, we could still be going in this direction, but then this direction would also be infinite, which kind of also makes sense. And with an interchange dimension, then if we go upwards, that means this is also a lava tube. And now the thing is, you might be like, well, lava tubes aren't this huge. And then again, you're wrong. Because remember when I said that lava tubes are as tall and wide and, well, have a circumference of about 1 football field? Well, 1 football field is about the size of a render distance. But then if we go up about the size of a football field, still don't see a roof. Well, maybe this red stuff is a roof. But then again, Mojang probably made it so it would be Mars and the Void together. Or maybe then, with it being a wall, it's also a lava tube. Which can make sense, or it's a very, very large lava tube, which also can make sense. Or maybe one that even goes up to the surface of Mars. So that is where it makes sense, because lava tubes in Mars usually come up to the surface through volcanoes. So that is why you cannot see the surface of Mars. Even if you go, well, you have to go thousands of blocks up, but then again, it probably won't work. You have to go very, very, very far up to finally reach the surface. And Mojang probably made that so it's an infinite amount, because with the overworld, if you try to reach the moon, you just won't. Even if you are like 250,000 kilometers in the sky, which is 250 million blocks in the sky, which is where I've actually been before, you're not closer to the moon at all, which is just very strange. So that is why this might be Mars. And where is that Geiger counter still coming from? Okay, we have to get back to the Geiger counter thingy, because then that would just be concerning. Short, very simplistic answer. It's the Mars rovers from above that are making the Geiger counter noises. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe to this video. I spent a really long time researching all of this, and nobody else on YouTube is really doing stuff this